DJ Manchus blowing my eardrum alums away. Oh no, we got it. We have full control.
Good
You are hearing me talk. Share the boys, just say something.
Kia ora. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Share the boy track. Just give us
And
colourful. I heard colourful from my lip reading.
Is the music too loud?
We're loud enough, I think.
The music?
We're okay. Yeah, the music's not overbearing, I'm sure.
Can you hear
Yeah,
it?
I can't even hear it when I'm talking.
Can't hear anything. I can only hear you guys.
No, it's a good level.
Stream elements active.
I don't want to do the sip the cuppa and then most of it goes. "Nah." Oh, this is a good way to start.
Yeah. The name.
You only get that with these words.
The name is Adrak.
We've barely been on for 1 minute and it's already.
Yeah.
Are we live now? I was saying goodnight to the missus and I came back like, oh, we on? Oh shit, okay.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, just.
I was trying to read your lips, bro. I definitely saw colourful.
Yep, definitely a colourful in there.
Yeah, colourful, definitely.
Cowboy.
Something about Mewtwo? No.
Definitely something about Mewtwo. Absolutely.
Thank you. Getting ready to switch into submission 3, 2. Aka atiaki, nei rā ka tuku inga mihi kia koutou katoa e rarau mai ana ki te mātakitaki mai tēnei whakapāoho. Nā reira ki te tiki te rei hiri noa, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Welcome to the second boil whānau. That's us, let's go. And we need to swap it around. If you give me a second, whānau, aroha mai.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been watching too many of the Brokazillion streams, eh?
Hara.
Should have started off with the scuffness to make it the realness.
Ka pai. Okay, let's get into it. Nei rā ka tuku inga mihi kia koutou katoa. I am Matua Native, aka Native Assassin, aka one of two of your co-hosts tonight. And I'll pass it on to the break. Kia ora.
Yo, kia ora whānau. For those who don't know, I'm Axiom Ultra Mega, and I help host the second boil with the bro, Matua Native, and we'll pass it along to our guest tonight to introduce himself. Who have we got here, bro?
Tēnā koutou katoa, kua huhi mai nei, kua karapina mai nei te minenga, kei rungi tō rorohiko, kei rungi tō waia, tēnei te kanohi atahua, te reo, kārangaranga, te reo, reka, rawatu, kua Adrak 88 tēnei, aka Sweet, aka the Velvet Titan. Tēnā koutou katoa, my name is Adrak 88. I'm gonna take these shades off. These look really cool, but I'm just gonna I like looking people in the eye, you know. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Adrak 88. I am a streamer. I'm a very widely talented person. I do waiata. I play video games. I have a whole raft of other hidden talents. E matatau I te reo Māori, kaore e kore. And it's my honor to be on this show tonight. Nei rā te whanori.
And it's an honor having you on the show tonight, my bro. So ngā mihi kia koe. Me toka wairangatira. Thank you so much for coming on to the kaupapa and sharing a bit about yourself.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Yeah, so feel free, e hoa, this, don't feel like you have to be kumara. Okay, this is your moment to be there. Riwai mi reiri and talk about yourself.
I better get the shades back on then.
Yeah, ka pai, you are the kaupapa. So, let's start, bro. Let's talk about ko wai koe nohe koe.
Kia ora. So, no reira, mō koutou kore i mōhio, ko Te Awhiroa Kuka Sweet, tōku ingoa tūturu. I go by the nickname Adrak88. Tēnei, ki te tau tōku mama, he uri tēnei ngā ngāpuhi. No reira, ko nā tuku mata whaoro te waka, ko te ramaroa kupe te maunga, ko whirinaki te awa, ko pāte aroha te marae. Ko te hikutu te hapu, no reira ko te ranga hau te tīpuna rangatira, te wahine toa tū kei runga i te tokotoko. Ki te taho tōku pāpā, he uri tēnei no tauranga moana, poots! Ngai tamaroa hau te hapu, huria te marae, tama te āriki nui te tīpuna rangatira, tama te pōkai whenua, te whare nui, mauao te maunga, mihi atu kia mauao, takitimu te waka, tauranga te moana. Reira, au, ko Te Awhiroa, ko Cathy Sweet tōku mama, ko Marcel tōku pāpā. Ai, ke konei au, e noho mai nei.
Mauri ora, tēnei ka tuku i ngā mihi kia tauranga moana, tauranga tangata, kua rarau mai. Bro, it's an honour and a privilege having you here to talk about you. So, kapa, you expressed earlier before that you're a very talented man. Please talk about your many talents. Let's start off with what you do.
Fans.
I need an OnlyFans,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I need one, eh?
Okay, so let's talk about your mahi. What do you do for mahi?
Nice. So I usually go on stream. I go by the mahi that I do is my mahi is that I'm a stripper. Obviously, I don't have the physique for that, or maybe I do. Who knows? But my
There's
mahi.
a niche there, bro. I'm sure there's a niche.
There's a niche. There's got to be a niche somewhere. My mahi is based in the mental health sector, so a lot of it's classified, obviously. It makes me sound cooler if I say that.
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use that more often. Yeah, classified.
It's classified.
I'm
But
gonna
my
steal that along for your Armor King tech, bro.
hey, feel free. It's for everybody. My main source of income is working at the hospital as a cultural coordinator, cultural support, work with cultural intervention, supporting our whānau Māori who are going through a tough time with mental health issues, whether it's schizophrenia, bipolar, BPD, depression, clinical depression, ADHD, whatever it is. I am here to facilitate a safe cultural environment for them, give them karakia, give them real-based support, which is my main source of income. And on the side, I do a lot of streaming.
Beautiful. What led you down the pathway of mental health, my bro?
I've had a lot of different jobs over the years. I first started out when I left high school. My first goal was to be an actor, so I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to get to film and television and things like that. However, didn't really go down that road, and I kind of went through a whole different huarahi, and I ended up doing all these different odd jobs, getting my degree, going back into acting, and then around the end of my acting stint, I did some work with Takirua in 2019. Around the end of my acting stint, a job came up to work at the hospital. And so I thought, hey, it's a good idea. I can, help people who are going through a tough time, practice my listening skills, practice my communication skills.
Beautiful.
It's a good way to apply my reo Māori because, if you don't practice your reo Māori, it tends to get a bit rusty. And yeah, so I've been doing that ever since. So I don't know whether I'll sort of stay in that job or whether I'll go back to my original goal. When I first started my degree was to become a teacher in secondary school. So whether I still take down that road or whether I just stick to mental health, we'll see how it goes.
Big ups to you for thinking of that too, bro.
Oh, kia ora.
I mean, like, I told the bro when the bro told me I was a secondary school teacher, I don't think I could ever do that, eh?
It's pretty tough. I know a couple of secondary school teachers, and it's a tough time. The working
Me
with
too.
kids is great. Yeah, there we go. The working with kids is great, but the hardest part is just sort of lesson plans and getting content for your lessons. Trying to make your whatever you're teaching engaging and interesting, because them teenagers, they have a short attention span, and they're just like, as soon as you lose their attention, they're off.
Oosh, out comes the phone.
That's the one.
So that
Oosh.
passion for working with rangatahi, my bro, is that influence from someone or somewhere in particular?
It's mostly influence just from my own experiences growing up.
Kapo.
Growing up, I had my mum and my two aunties, and I had a pretty tough time growing up with a sort of transient father who was sort of there half the time and not there the rest of the time. And I went through a big rough patch, but my main goal around wanting to become a secondary sketcher, and my main goal around education and wanting to help spread a lot of joy and happiness around the world is mostly from wanting to instill a lot of good values and morale into rangatahi. Especially within, mihi ki ngā mana wahine, but especially within our tāne, rangatahi tāne, because, a lot of the...
And I think it's the time it's needed, bro. And
Yeah.
Definitely.
A lot
Exactly.
of like you do need a lot of that extra support and help and just encouragement, bro. So
Yeah.
helps.
Because a lot of those messages they get about being a tāne can sometimes be a bit misconstrued, or
even just straight up wrong, bro.
or even just sometimes straight up incorrect, and pardon?
Or just not the type of people we want to be.
Exactly.
Your mother must have had to be a strong woman, bro, to raise such an amazing person. I mean, for you to have that ambition as a male, you have a mindset on giving back to your people. So those values had to have come from somewhere. And as you mentioned, from your own personal experiences and background as a rangatahi, it's awesome to hear that you're striving to be better, to be a better version of yourself as a male. So,
Who would you think would you attribute to influencing that in yourself, bro? Like, or was it just so to turn out the way you are, bro? Like, who would you attribute that to? So personally, like,
True. I get it. I'd attribute that probably to a lot of different people in my life. Mostly to my mum. E ai ki te kōrero he wahine toa.
Always shout out to the mums out there doing the thing.
Always got to shout to the mums. Also to my dad, or the person I now call dad, who even though he wasn't my birth father, he put a lot of time and effort into trying to instill some good values within me.
Shout out to him.
Big shout out to my high school drama teacher. So my high school drama teacher that's the one, the mentor, sort of picked me up at about 14 and said, I want to try and work with you to see if I can, because I see you're a pretty good actor. I'm like, I don't know if I can do acting. I'll probably be crap at it. I was wrong, but he instilled a lot of things and sort of motivated me to try and better myself and sort of these aspects of things that he was teaching. And just a lot of good role models. My koro is a big one. He turned 91 this year. He was a counselor and a psychologist. My grandmother, all these different, whānau and people that were around me when I was in high school and things like that have gone a long way towards forming my own kind of perspective.
So it sounds like you were very wealthy in terms of the aroha that surrounded you to help you become the person that you are today, my bro.
Yeah, not that I listened to any of them growing up, but eventually when I became when I became a father, it kind of all clicked together, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's what they were trying to teach me, or I can start applying that now.
Yeah, don't we all, bro? Got a wealth of
No.
knowledge and wisdom around you, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, that's great, but I just want to go have a beer. I want to be
Ever
cool.
the rebel.
I just want to be cool.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but I can be cool and awesome at the same time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, so that's mean. We were talking about something earlier, like since you are a streamer and
Mm.
stuff like that. Gaming wise, bro, in your career, like you're giving us the whakapapa of yourself. Now give us your gaming whakapapa, bro. Like where did it start?
Ooh, this might take a while, but I first got into gaming. I'll tell you the story of my first foray into gaming. My koro and my kuia had a Sega Master System at their house.
Let's go.
They had no games on it apart from the free one that came with the Sega, which was Alex the Kid.
Yep.
The one.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
that's the one. That's the one.
Alex
mate.
the Kid, bro. Oh man. Shout out to the new remaster. It only had Alex the Kid, nothing but Alex the Kid. So every time I would go to their place, they'd be like, "Oh, we got this thing." I was like, "What is this?" Trying to work out how to use like the controller and stuff. I was crap at it because I was, like 8 or 9, and I was like trying to beat this intensely hard game. And that was my first foray into video games. Ever since then, I remember growing up. My mum didn't have a lot of money, sort of wasn't into like the screen kind of fun. She was just like, we don't want to have too many screens in the house. And I was like, that's cool. So, you'd go around to your friend's place and you play on their PlayStation. And my mum, always did her best to try and make sure we had cool things. And I remember the first time I got a PlayStation. Everyone else had a PlayStation 2. I had a PlayStation 1. And I played that thing for ages. But I remember... Yeah, man. I remember I booted up Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
For the first time when I was about 13, 14 years old. I booted it up. And I remember just being like, what is this game? This is nuts. Like, it blew my mind that you could have a game like that. And ever since then, my love of gaming has been all-encompassing to, like, all the different realms, and it's developed over the years as I follow different YouTubers and different content creators. I remember following, very early on, I started following people like Turtle Biscuit, Jesse Cox, recently started following Asmongold, all these different people who sort of inspired me to sort of have a big love for gaming and what it represents. So ever since then I've tried to be a jack of all trades when it comes to gaming. Get into Tekken, get into sort of FPSs, get into RPGs, do all sorts. Yeah.
So what would you say has taken up the most of your time in your entire career? Like, which one would have taken up the biggest chunk of time?
That would have to be a competition, or sort of a draw between World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy. Both those games I have sunk, like, it must be about, like, not just Final Fantasy VII, but everything up and down in between. We're getting into sort of like years of my life that I've sunk into these games.
Yeah, okay. So it's what do you think hour wise?
I think
10,000 hour mark.
I think
your masters and
I think Final Fantasy will probably beat out World of Warcraft by a little bit, but only because of the price and the fact that you had to keep up a subscription.
Yeah.
It's probably the only reason that Final Fantasy beats out World of Warcraft. But my Final Fantasy across all the games is probably up to like 10, 12,000 hours or something ridiculous like that.
Actually didn't know, chat, the 10,000 hour rule. So if you spend 10,000 hours at something, essentially that's your like a master.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yo, shout out to chat for that one.
Rough. Just rough. But yeah, it's 10,000 hour rule.
So I've got a degree in WoW and I've got a master's in Final Fantasy.
Okay.
The hours you need to have a master's, so to speak.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Favorite Final Fantasy and go.
7.
Yes.
Ooh,
7.
that
Total.
wasn't even
Okay, so why 7?
Just past the fact that it was sort of my introduction into Final Fantasy games. It was very much my introduction into storytelling in video games.
Oh, when you started with the bar high there, bro.
Yeah. It's what's a high bar? Holy hiccup. And I remember distinctly because no one before then I'd sort of played platformers and Sonic and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize that video games could have like such rich stories within them,
And you actually start giving a shit about the people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember this because my first copy of Final Fantasy I played was one that my bro had lent me. My bro from high school, and he said, "Oh, you can have this." I'm like, "Sweet, everyone's been
You
talking
can
about
have it. Bro, who's that? Shout them out.
Shout out to Josiah Deo, my bro from high school.
Yo, let's go.
I still see him every now and again. We're not as close as we used to be, but I see him every now and again. Shout out to the bro Josiah Deo for lending me Final Fantasy. I lost it, but it's hanging around. I'm sure it's going to a good home.
I'm sure whoever Tauhide it likes it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably sitting in cash converters down the road. No.
There's a cash converter somewhere with a Final Fantasy 7.
So about Final Fantasy 7 though, like it's like one of the first games of the first disc feels like an entire game.
Yeah, the concept of
Yeah, and then you get to the second disc, it's the whole world, and you're like,
oh man, the concept of having multiple discs in a game like freaked me out. I was like, why is there more than one disc in this? This is weird. What is going on? And I thought that the entire Midgar section that you play at the start, I thought the game was over. I got to that and I was like, oh, is that the end of the game? Like, what's going on? And it's like, oh no, insert the other disc. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Turn it on and it's like, well, there goes like half a year of my life.
world.
Yeah.
A whole new world.
And it's mind blowing. And to be able to do that is such an achievement.
Quick question, you didn't GF every fight, did you?
No.
Okay.
That's Final Fantasy 8 you're talking about there.
Yeah, you didn't do summons on every fight, did you?
No,
You
no,
didn't?
no. I ground out. So the first time I played, I kind of played to the end, but I didn't really do the extra stuff.
Yeah.
I left it for the year. The second time I played, I did all the side stuff. So like even down to the chocobo breeding. The chocobo breeding took me a long time because that is no joke.
It's seemingly random AF.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of restarting the PlayStation. It's a lot of trial and error.
Trying to get like the blue one and the black one. I was like,
It's like, oh man, what's going on here? My favorite part of that entire game, it's my most loved and most hated at the same time, is the death in the middle. Because back in the day, you couldn't spoil that stuff on the internet. And it wasn't like a widely known thing. And I went into it with no knowledge of what was going on. Zero knowledge.
And it ripped your heart out?
I turned it off and I didn't play it for like a good week because I was just heartbroken because I believed she was going to get saved. I was sitting there like, nah, something's going to happen. Nah, something's going to happen. Nah, she's going to get saved.
Save the day. Hero's going to come save the
I was like, that's what I thought. And then she just like with the sword from above and I was just...
Ganker Doom.
Oh... I stared at my screen for like 10 minutes with my mouth open, just wondering what the hell was going on.
Legit, that wrecked me as well. It's like, yeah.
The story will, but that's like the story. The dialogue was so instrumental throughout the whole thing. I mean, like honestly, Final Fantasy VII was my reason that I could read dialogue. So yeah,
there we go.
Because like spending time playing games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and then transitioning from fighting games over to a game like Final Fantasy, man, it took a while to grasp.
It's a sharp turn.
Yeah, it is.
And then when
especially,
people are used to you only playing that, your boys look at you as like,
yeah.
"Are you okay?" Some game.
You
Yeah.
come to school and you're like, what are you playing? Final Fantasy 7? Oh, what is that?
What is that?
Yeah.
What
But
do you
then
mean?
you,
The only way you can make them like us, I'll watch this, summon Neo Bahamut, and then fuck.
Get all the Bahamut. Watch this. There's
Yeah.
3 Bahamuts. What?
the crack up part was when you found find that one mate that's flattered as well. And then all the boys are just looking at you and you just go, yo, bro.
So, bro, did you get Bahamut 0? What do you mean Bahamut 0? Yeah, did you get Bahamut 0?
Yeah,
What?
did you get, that's all. You're just making shit up, pal.
He's like, bro, there's no such thing as Bahamut 0. Yeah, there is. What?
Yeah, did you do the train or no? No.
He said, you do the train. Like,
Yeah.
Hero was like, bro, did you do the train? What do you mean do the train? You know you can save the train? I'm like, what do you mean you can save the train? But yeah, Final Fantasy 7 has always been my favorite. I've loved every other one. Like 10 is up there for me, 8 is up there for me.
10.
Yeah, 15's up there for me, but it's always been Final Fantasy 7, which has been right here.
Yeah. And I think it's evident, especially within the OC community as well, like especially for our Māori people. I've noticed those that have had experience with Final Fantasy 7, you know, straight away they know the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like 3 bars in, they're just like, I know what it is.
Yeah. And the impact that the soundtrack had on you know, on a lot of people was like, bro, the feels. Hey,
The feels.
the feels.
Like the
It
first
still gives me the goosebumps, bro. It still
Man.
gives me the old goosebumps.
The first 3 notes of Ares' theme is like instantly recognizable. That da da da, instantly recognizable. I think I did a lot of thinking in this a while ago, and I think for us, ngā tātanga ngai Māori, it appeals a lot to our pūrākau side of things. You know, we've always been people who are very interwoven with pūrākau and stories, you know, Maui, to Tanekai, Hinemoa, all those kind of stories, and we connect with those when those kind of things are presented to us in that kind of format.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, that's what I connected with. You know, I connected with the fact that, you know, this is a pūrākau which is being told here. You know, it has its lessons, it has its like journey, things like that.
It's challenges. It's
And it
accomplishments.
starts off with environmental activists.
Oh man,
Yeah.
right there, ake ake tonu rā.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's nice that you brought it up because just getting into our next kōrero is about your journey in Te Reo Māori. Now, as we know, Te Reo Māori plays a significant part in your life in all aspects. From your mahi to your streaming to your whānau. Tell us about your journey.
Aira, so my journey with Te Reo Māori began at birth. I started my Te Reo journey at Te Kura Whakapūmau ki Te Reo Tūturu ki Waitaha. Shout outs to the Kura. Oots. I went there because my mum, she didn't speak Māori at the time, but she was very, very committed to me trying to grow up Māori. So she sent me to the school. I eventually left the school at a young age, mostly because at the time I was a very sensitive kid, having been raised in like a very like openly loving household, and wasn't really used to like a lot of the rougher kids. And subsequently I sort of just ended up leaving because I was just like I couldn't handle these kids, you know, who were making fun of me for crying, and because I liked hugging people, you know. It was a rougher time, obviously. But I left there and actually lost a lot of my Te Reo Māori all the way through high school. And didn't end up getting it back until I started working for Tahu FM in Christchurch. So for a long time I was very, you know, aware of my Māoritanga. but had gone through a lot of the mainstream schooling. Subsequently, it meant that I actually learnt English at around age 9 or 10. Way, past the usual age.
Yeah.
So I struggle.
Transition, yeah. How was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough. I still to this day I struggle with punctuation and English grammar. Spoken is fine, and I just use the word for autocorrect. But my written English is still really iffy, and it sort of takes me a while to kind of get everything right. Because up until sort of age 7 or 8, I only spoke Māori, didn't know how to speak any other language, and learning English was rough to try and understand, all the rules around it and everything like that. I didn't actually get really good at English until I discovered kind of fantasy books, like Robert Jordan and David Eddings and all these different
Oh,
books.
yes. Good old
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Eddings.
David Eddings, love a bit of David Eddings.
Yeah.
I started reading these books and picking up the vocabulary, and that was the thing that led me to developing my English a bit more and developing my grammar. But I started working at Tahu FM and trying to challenge myself, because it was a bilingual radio station, to up my te reo and up my knowledge. And then from there, I went on to study a degree in Māori Indigenous Studies at Te Puna Wānaka, which was where I sort of really reconnected with the language and Ngā Tikanga and Pūrākau and Waiata and all these things which I try to impart upon people and use it to help them rediscover their own identity. So yeah, and obviously it's always a learning journey. I still have to recorrect myself every now and again, and still have learning new words and remembering old ones. But it's
a bit of an everlasting journey.
Oh yeah,
Kuia.
Kuia.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be able to impart that upon my whānau now. And my son goes to a full immersion school, and it's cool to hear him speaking it the way I was, but being able to converse with him in te reo. Yeah.
So being able to speak te reo Māori can be seen as quite a privilege, for us as Māori. What were some of the challenges for you growing up with it? Did you?
Yeah, I had a few challenges. Probably the biggest one was trying to communicate with, when I was growing up, communicate with people who didn't know how to speak Māori, because all I ever spoke was Māori. And, if I'm trying to talk to people, they were just like, trying to get my mum to translate or something like that.
Yeah.
Some of the other challenges around te reo Māori was, I think when I tried to relearn it, was getting over that kind of feeling of whakamā about it, and feeling like this was something that I was able to grasp again, and not being embarrassed about that. Because going back into it, I sort of felt, embarrassed about the fact that I'd lost it in the first place. And trying to overcome that and sort of sit with being okay with that kind of feeling was probably the biggest challenge. And being able to just I have to learn, me haere pepi mai, just learn from, kākano, and then eventually I can move up to that. And everyone seems to make assumptions. When I was still learning, everyone would make assumptions that I could speak Māori, and I was like, oh no, I'm still learning. Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up, because just speaking on the personal note, the first time I actually seen you was when you were live streaming at Southern Stronghold speaking in te reo Māori.
Oh man,
bro, you got your co-host in the chat here at the moment. Shout outs to FSG Suplexity.
You done a hell of a job, Like, it was entertaining as.
Suplexity, man. I don't know what the chemistry is there, but you and I just, we click in a beautiful way.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful to behold, bro, for sure.
How about that? So,
How about that? How about that?
yeah.
Yeah. So because I try to bring a lot of Māori to everything I do. So I just thought I'd chuck a little bit out there, here and there. And it was cool to see you in the chat just with the, oh, hell no! Still one of my favorite moments too.
My life, yo.
And as a result, like since Seven Stronghold, you've been quite proactive in the streaming community, you know, especially with your Tekken, bro. So you know, big ups to you, not only showcasing your skills in gaming, but also, you know, reinforcing the K-pop world. So, hey, big ups, man.
Yeah, thank you for that. Tekken is something which I've always wanted to learn how to play for years, but have always been like way too scared to pick up a controller and actually try and learn it. So I want to give a big shout out to the PlayStation Tekken crew, KO, Mars, Hillside, Dizzle Dan, all the bros, who sort of were very patient with me. They were like really patient with me as I was trying to learn all this stuff. And when I first started playing with them, they're like, no, you know, trying to take me through stuff. So yeah, shout out to the bros. The how you like that actually comes from that group where we used to do that every time someone was winning. How you like that? How you like that?
There was something else that we ended up talking about before, but I was going to ask you anyway. So, because I know you play well, bro, and how does the recent Blizzard news sit with you and your, like, bro? And let the chat know what to go there, because, like, I know for people who like to uphold their, you know, their standards and that, when something like that comes along, you know, what's been your take? Because, like,
I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one.
Yeah, chat knows you've spent the most time on World of Warcraft, and I sort of figured that. And me being a huge Blizzard fan, yeah, the sort of news coming up there is sort of rocking my current standing as well. So let chat know just in case they don't know what's going on and why.
I knew this was gonna come up.
Yeah.
I was kind of half prepping myself. I was like, oh man, I know.
You already touched on it, but it's going to come up because it's something we're like, just being aware, and because we're in a position where we do want to make things better for rangatahi and stuff like that. You know, something along the lines of what's happening is just unacceptable. But
so for those who don't know in chat, I follow very, very closely with a lot of WoW streamers, and a lot of sort of Blizz going on. I've played WoW on and off since its inception, back when I had like a 32 megabyte hard drive.
Did you do anything with that back then?
You could install one game.
You could have like 10 songs.
10 songs, and you had to delete the songs to install WoW. But for those who don't know, Blizzard is currently undergoing a lawsuit which has been brought forth by the state of California. It's the result of a 2-year investigation into their workplace practices. They found out that over the last decade, specifically within the WoW team, there has been a huge history of malpractice, sexual harassment, racial discrimination, gender discrimination, this huge list, and a lot of higher ups within the World of Warcraft development team have had a lot of these reports brought to them about the behavior. People higher up who have gone to BlizzCon and, you know, just sexually assaulted females, just being absolute creeps. If you do want to check out a good rundown of it, make sure you can check out probably esports. There's an esports channel who did a rundown of it. Asmongold.
And Blizzard have been having like quite a shaky reputation for a while now.
Absolutely.
And stance on a lot of things.
especially the Activision Blizzard and monetization things have been going on, especially with the release of TBC, classic TBC, and a lot of the monetization around mounts and boosting, huge stuff around boosting.
But the crux of what happened last week, bro. What's the main thing?
The crux of what happened last week is serious on a number of factors, mostly because of the huge detriment it's had towards the employees there. I did a bit of research into it, and it's sort of to the point where you know, women have sort of had half the pay of men, zero work opportunities. They've been working their asses off while these other guys have just been sitting around doing nothing. There is one woman who has who actually committed suicide.
Very serious.
It's very serious, yeah, and which was linked later on to the stuff that's come out in this investigation. So it's a pretty heavy subject, you know, and for those of you kei te whakarongo mai, please, especially coming from me, I work in the mental health industry, you know, I know how this shit goes down. Please make sure you ask for help if you're in that situation. But this, when I did find out about it, it hit me a lot harder than I realized, than I thought it would, because, you know, it was just news. And then and I think it echoes the sentiments of a lot of people who have had such a huge history with WoW. I mean, when I found out about it and went on to my guild, and my guild had been around since Legion, sort of 5-6 years old, half the guild had left, the other half were thinking about it, and it shakes a lot of the community to the core.
And that came for the whole of Blizzard as well. The whole
absolutely.
thing. Like, I played today, but I am like sitting on the fence. Am I uninstalling? What am I doing? Like, it's something that I don't want to have a hand in helping at all. You know?
When I was growing up, my mum was very adamant about instilling within me a lot of values around mana wahine. I listened to none of these things until I became a father, and I sort of realized, you know, what are the values that I want to instill within my son. And then I went back to my mum and I was like, Mum, you were right all along. Surprise, surprise. As she sort of, you know, likes to remind me. But it's probably the few times in my life where I've just sort of come home angry, opened up Battle.net, unsubscribed, and just uninstalled the entire game, because it's one of those things which, you know, I'm a very calm person. You know, I have a lot of patience, and I will, you know, have huge amounts of patience, as my missus says, you know, patience of a saint. But this kind of stuff, it sort of reaches deep into a part of me, which is very emotional and infuriated by it. And it feeds a lot into my beliefs around Te Ao Māori, and Te Ao Māori being a very matriarchal.
I was gonna say, koera tō mana me tō rangatira kei roto i a koe. That's been impacted.
Yeah. You know, ke roto te tātou kōrero, te tangata tūtahi he wahine. Ngā te whakapapo o te haka, ngā wahine, o hine rauka tauri, o hoa. So, yeah, it's hit me a lot harder than I expected, because for myself and for a lot of WoW players, WoW has always been that place where, you know, if you're going through a tough day at work, or, you know, things are really bad, or you're in a dark place, the warm glow of WoW has always been, you know, a warmth which you can sit in and feel comfortable in and safe in. And when all that is taken away, it's, you know, it leaves a huge void, which myself and obviously a lot of people are starting to grapple with at the moment.
But to put it simply, in case like the Kōrero sort of has gotten away, it's basically a safe place provided by wolves.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned that too, because you know, through your positivity you found another space, and I did realize, bro, that you know you retreated back to Squaresoft, and
Oh, you
yeah,
found that out, did you?
yeah. I was looking at it and I was like,
Trying to get the bro to come
Final
across to.
Fantasy
Oh.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very familiar.
Well, you know, when
Yeah.
one game gets deleted, another game gets reinstalled, as they say.
That leaves space to be filled, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Big 50
I
space to be filled with another
Mm.
big game.
I have been rocking the Final Fantasy 14 lately. I only actually installed it recently,
Yeah.
like maybe a week ago, because everyone that all the people that I follow that play WoW have been playing Final Fantasy 14. So I was like, you know, what's all the fuss about? I'll try it, and honestly, it's really good.
That's a good game.
It's really good. It appeals a lot to my love of story, and my love of Final Fantasy. You know,
Yeah, I was
lot of
gonna
the
say
old soundtracks in
there would have been a bit of nostalgia,
Mm,
going certain
What class did you
places.
go? Yeah. What
Yeah.
class did you go?
Um,
What did you go past what role?
I started as Lancer. I'm only about level 30 at the moment. I started as Lancer mostly just because I wanted to wield the Taiaha. So I was like, this kind of looks like a
Oh,
Taiaha.
yeah.
Dragoon class for days.
Yeah, mate, Dragoon. Or as they, as I found out, they're called in Final Fantasy, Floor Tank.
Floor tank. Yeah.
Floor Tank because they spend a lot of time jumping around and eventually fall off. Yeah, so I've been checking out the Final Fantasy 14. I like what I see. You know, the combat system is great, and also the story about how Final Fantasy came about is actually one that really sits quite well within me. About it.
Honestly, I hope Squaresoft start paying you for promoting their content team, man.
Square Enix.
Yeah,
Yoshi
Square
P,
Enix.
where my money at?
Yeah,
Yoshi
Square
P.
Enix. From Final Fantasy 7 to Final Fantasy 14, you know.
I got that
Bro.
chocobo.
Yo,
Yeah.
Square Enix, if you pay me, I will stream your content. Let's go.
Shit, I'll replay all of them.
Hey,
I'll go from 1 all the way to 15. Let's go.
yeah.
I'll even do the tactics in the middle.
They're remastering 1 to 6, just saying. Being released.
Yeah.
1 to 6 on Steam. Stay away from those Steam sales. Naughty, naughty.
Those stream sales are deadly. Holy hiccup. But yeah, so it's good. It's good to find something to have as a reconnected safe space. But at the moment, I've been going hard at the Tekken and going hard at Final Fantasy 14. You know, I have a busy life, so between parenting and working and you know, hanging out with people, I only usually have time for about 2 games in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, as you do, you have like an entire Steam library, and you only play that much.
Yeah.
I
Exy knows
feel
all about that.
I feel attacked personally there.
Pretty much.
How dare you?
Pretty much. Kopwai, so many talents, you know, very passionate person. Let's talk about one of the other talents there. You tend to perform on your streams quite frequent. Quite the music there, Mobber.
Well, you know, your man Adrak did study music in high school.
Rail jams.
And the working on the radio helped as well. But yeah, I used to, on my drive show, on my radio show on Tahu FM, I used to have a segment that we were called the Waiata News. We would take like a story from that day or whatever it was, and we'd turn it into a Waiata. So I would sort of get out the gat and then just sort of make something on the spot that was to do with, you know, if someone like had been attacked by a bear and managed to escape, you know, do a song about the bear. Or if it was, you know, a man got slapped in the face with some ice cream, you know, we'll do a waiata about that, whatever it is. So it was kind of an idea which developed out of that, because I was like, oh, hey, you know, the world of Tekken is just like full of crazy huas everywhere. You know, crazy names, people who disconnect, people who are cheating, people who beat me 10 times and then just quit.
Last one, far.
So I just thought, you know, as a way to, and I'd sort of harken back to that thing of like, oh, I'll just do a song about it. And apparently it's caught on. I'll just do it out of nowhere. And apparently people get more
I know
money.
the aggressive fan like your freestyle way at the bro.
Yeah, you found your niche, like, so to speak. Like, Tekken and then roasting through music, like, that's cool.
White roast. And for those,
I'm also sad that my customizations didn't get a Waiata bro far.
that needs like an entire album, I feel like.
Played
Yep.
Soul Calibur 6 bro, I got a surprise on there for you.
Oh no, I haven't played Soul Calibur 6 yet.
Hey.
But those who doubt me, all my Waiata is made up on the spot. You can tell because sometimes I just rhyme weird words that make no sense, but they are 100% made up. And if you don't believe me, you can join me on my stream tomorrow to check.
Do the plug, what is it?
Would you be keen to give us a demonstration, my friend?
Oh, okay.
Hey, let's go.
Like you asked that, I had this
Like
guitar
a
prepared earlier.
Guitar.
Oh, look at this. Now this is an authentic Māori guitar. It's authentic because it's only 5 strings. That's how you know it's good.
That's all you need, bro. That's all you need.
The bottom string, we don't need that.
Oh,
You need to make it fair for everyone else.
Right.
so,
Okay. We
authentically
need some kaupapa ideas.
Oh,
So,
you got the Fantasy 7, bro. Take
Final
us
Fantasy
on that
7.
journey.
Okay. What's chat got? Let me open up and see.
We've got a Yolza straight away.
Really Yolza. Whoa. I don't know about the Yolza. Damn. Calm down, chat. Calm down. So a bit of Final Fantasy. I think.
What do you reckon? A melancholy, how you felt about the events in the centre? Or no, we'll let you take it away.
Okay. So we got some events. We got some Final Fantasy. I think we can string something together. Here we go. Live in front of you. A freestyle Waiata brought to you by Adric88.
Clip this.
Oh, Blizzard, they got me down, way low down to the ground. They got me sad, so beautiful and sad. There's a single tear rolling down my eye. But when one game gets unstuck, yeah, that's right, it's a beautiful up and up, I know. Oh, well, Final Fantasy has been there for me from the start. Oh, yeah. And if you haven't played it, I got to tell you it's so good. Oh, the beautiful stuff and the amazing cinematics. And don't get me started on the street. So if you come on down to which way makes this guy, hope it's sorry. Oh, yeah, Final Fantasy 14. It is my safe space now. Oh, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is my safe space. Oh, yeah, where is won't you be? Won't you please give me a sponsor? Killed it.
I don't know, my friend. That was cool. There was a bit of noise cancellation in the from
Oh,
the
no.
side, but we still managed to catch most of the song. Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful ata. Ngā mihi. No, thank you
Kia ora.
for that demonstration, my bro. Very talented.
Thank you, bro.
Very talented.
I have a lot of hidden talents. Some of them I'll show on stream, but some of them I'll just keep away for a rainy day.
Ka pai. Mean. Bro, with all these talents, where do you see yourself in, say, like 10, 15, 20 years' time?
That's a really good question. I feel like at the moment in my life, there's a lot going on, but it's probably the time of my life where there's been the biggest potential for change and finding a good direction. I used to say that, like, you know, I was going to be scared about turning 30, but these days 30 has been pretty kapai. I'd say in about 20 years, which is a long time, I probably will still be playing Final Fantasy. We'll still have a PC and still be just enjoying my games. But I hope sort of as the years go on, I can get a lot more into the multimedia side of things, like creating videos, doing waiata, and trying to sort of connect with a lot of people to get into that. I've always, probably the biggest thing I always want to do is get into sort of gaming critic type stuff.
Cool.
Mostly due to the fact that when I first started watching gaming critics, one of my biggest role models in that, or heroes in that kind of sphere, was Total Biscuit. Rest in peace. And him and Jesse Cox, who have been my favorite YouTubers since day one, have always inspired me to try and do something in that kind of realm. And, you know, it may take me like 5 years to get it right. It may take me like 8. But eventually that's the kind of thing I want to get into, and trying to use that kind of platform to further the sort of educational and cultural aspect in whatever way that, you know, whatever form that takes, wherever possible. And just trying to use whatever platform I have to tell people that, you know, it's all good to to speak Māori, you know, to use your language, to have a kōrero.
Mean.
Yeah.
That's a huge message to put out for the ones who are whakamā of their te reo, or even learning te reo, using te reo. I mean, that's a common thing. The other thing about your game critic thing, bro. So next week? No, is that next week?
Oh, is that us next week, is it?
Let's go.
Let's go. What do you got for me?
Learn as you go. Learn as you go.
What kind of game you got? Straight out of left field. Let's go.
Straight out of left field, I have. No, you don't want my games.
Oh, okay.
I took Safe off on my Steam. No.
NSFW.
Oh no. Okay. No.
NSFB, not safe for boil.
Oh, not safe for anyone. No. Bro, I reckon just give it a go, bro. Because like me and the bro Matua, we never thought we'd do anything like this.
Yeah.
So there's the fact that you're thinking about it, bro. Next week I'll be there, bro. I'll be watching.
Hard out.
Final Fantasy 7, and we'll come in and tutupu you, bro. Let's go. What do you reckon, chat?
Where you Final Fantasy 7? I've never reviewed Final Fantasy 7. I feel like my opinion would be slightly biased towards it.
Hey, that's how it starts.
Just slightly biased.
That's bias. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So I'll do a biased review. It's like, this is what it's like to review something.
Do bias review.
Biased review. I only do things that I love.
Bias review of my favouriteest game of all time. Let's go.
This game is amazing. It could do no wrong.
It's amazing. Graphics still hold up.
Nice. Yeah.
I honestly do reckon just give it a go, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon like I would get that message out to anybody, you know, because Like, if you asked me around January if I would be playing Tekken and streaming, I would have told you were crazy, and to get back into my ward because you know you.
And
need
then
to-
yeah. And that people would actually be stealing your tech, your
Oh.
stolen.
that I
Hey.
definitely wouldn't believe.
You'd be like, do you want me to schedule you for an appointment?
Do you need? What do you
Hey,
need? I got some drugs for you. What do you got?
I'll even do your karakia hazard.
The thing I've been saying to everyone like a lot lately is shoot your shot, man. Give it a go.
Yeah. Hard
Yeah,
out.
man. In the words of Hamilton, don't waste your shot.
Oh.
I am not throwing that.
And,
I'll be singing for days if we get into Hamilton.
Don't worry. Before the bro asks you the final question, I just want to mention to you, talking about your aspirations to teach. Just letting you know right now that the toad in my classroom, they watch this show. And they, yeah, and so I'd like to provide an opportunity for you to share with them some words of wisdom or some awesome advice that could help
Ooh,
inspire them in the future, my bro. So
okay.
yeah, kōrero mai.
O tuatahi tēnei te mihi nui kia koutou ngā tauira o te Matsua. The Matsua native, the Matsua Māori, me ki. Those of you watching, the students, I want to say to you that it is really scary when you learn a new language, and you can be whakamā for a lot of reasons. You can be maybe you've lost your reo and you're embarrassed to get it back. Maybe you're learning it for the first time and you're having trouble with the pronunciation. Whatever it is that you're having trouble with, remember that the biggest thing is that you are trying. If you try it, because not trying at all is useless, because you're not making an effort and you're not putting in some time in there. Put some time into it, even if it's just like 10 minutes of just sitting down and practicing. Even if it's like 1 minute of practicing like 5 words, that can make a huge difference. And that's the thing that I tell a lot of people that I work with, because they are whakamā about it or they're scared about it. And what if I mess it up? That's fine. You can mess it up. If you mess it up, it's even better, because then we can teach you how to do it properly.
and then
And then in the wise words of Bruce Lee, there is such a thing as glorious failure.
Kia ora. Kia ora.
That's what I got.
Hey, so speaking like a true champion, man. So, ka pai. So, Tauirama, okay, you heard it from the bro himself. Take this advice on board, because they mean it with all sincerity, and they mention it with the goodness in their heart. And that's what this kaupapa is about. Having the pono yarns and then being able to help pave the pathway so that you can become our brighter leaders for tomorrow.
Right on.
We
No rangatira.
Koia. So, kia koe te rangatira, tēnei ka tuku i ngā mihi kia koe mō aukupu a tāhua ko horohi e ki wainga nui i o tātou rangatahi, e kapohia i ngā whetū o te rangi, kia whai hua ki ngā āhuatanga o a pōpō. Nā reira, my bro, thank you.
Lovely.
And pass it on to you, my bro, to ask the question of all questions.
Here we go. I'm going to prepare myself. Dudes.
yeah, I know one day when I answer this, I'm gonna balls it, because favorite food. Your favorite food where, like, you've got something good in front of you already, and you'll just be like, decide, this is it. What is your number one?
Easy answer. Spaghetti bolognese, made with red wine. Red wine is very important, okay? Because you pour the red wine in,
You need to fortify it.
you have a little bit more, and then you pour some more red wine in, and then you reduce it down. You cook some spaghetti, you pour it over.
Come on, give us the famous one-liner. Go, go, go.
Tastes like victory.
Yeah. Kia ora.
Yo.
Well, you heard it right here, whānau. Spaghetti bolognese done in a particular way. So,
Bro, the chat wants one more thing from you.
Yeah, what's that?
They need the steer, but they need your Magnum.
Oh, they need the death stare. Hang on, we'll do the glasses death stare. So usually when I do the death stare, I come down and come up. But what we're gonna do is we'll do the death stare, but this time I'm gonna lift up the glasses and we'll do it. For those of you who don't know, in my chat, I refer to my mods as those who wield the taiaha. But it's very important because it's a big responsibility to wield the taiaha. But you cannot misuse the taiaha. And if you do misuse the taiaha, well, obviously you get swung. But you get the patented ADRAC 88 death stare. Here we go. I've got to get into the.
With the Woody, yo.
There it is. There it is.
Love
There it
it.
is. Shout us, chat. Shout us, chat.
Mihi. Ka pai. Awa kua tai ki tērā wā e hoa. Bro, kei a koe te rākau. It's in your hands. Who would you like to make your shout-outs to, my bro?
Oh, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to the Te Tekken gang, Kei Runga i te PS4. Also a big shout out to the entire Tekken, the NZ Tekken crew. All you awesome fellas, Arashi, Nike Load, Suplex City, Ordinary Smoke. There are so many, I cannot name them all. But big shout out to you guys, to my whānau, and all of those people, Rusty Cholos too, the man. All of those people who have helped me in my journey streaming, ahako he pepi, he kākono ki nei mahi. Even though I'm just starting out, it's amazing to have all these people helping me out and helping on this journey. And also big shout out to the Ngāti Gaming crew for allowing me into their ranks and providing like a platform for gaming in real Māori to intermingle, because I love it. I love it a lot.
Tēnā koe.
Kia ora.
Ka pai. On to you, my bro.
Oh. Oh, bro. Just like I do every week, bro. Just thank you for taking the time and coming on here, bro. I mean, just giving up your time to share with us your whakaaro on things in general. So big ngā mihi to you, bro.
Thank you, bro. My
Chat
pleasure.
again. I mean, there's quite a lot that happens in chat, and because we're focused on the whakaaro, we don't answer a lot of these questions, but this chat that makes this say, like, it's thanks to everyone in chat who come along. I do got to shout out the Ngāti Gaming whānau as well for the mahi put into everything. So it's been an awesome journey along here with just being on this journey with everyone. And just the OCE community in general. Like I always say, like, I'm getting confused on which group people belong to, so I don't even care anymore. Honestly, like,
yeah.
everyone's just whānau, just go chat whānau.
Tsuru.
I just forget what ones, and that's not taking mana away from the group in that, bro, so if I fuck it up, let me know. I make mistakes constantly. These groups, I know right wrong.
hard to believe, but yeah, there's ropu.
And again, like everyone who apparently, so everyone who has, so to the people who influence you in your life, bro, big shout out to them for influencing you into turning out into the person you are today. To learn a bit more about you today, bro, and respect you just that bit more, bro. So thanks again. Bro, I'm gonna run out of people. Also, the host, bro, and Choco, just for dragging me along to these. No, they don't drag me along. I look forward to this shit, eh? Like, somewhere on the slide.
Straight up.
Yo, to the bro, shot for twisting my arm literally into doing this with you, bro, and I'll pass it on because I could just sit here and thank everyone honestly for the next hour.
Koi.
Grateful for the opportunity. And if I forgot anyone's name, too bad. Nah, jokes. Nah. If I forget anyone,
Wow.
Ka pai. Who are we going to read after this one, bro?
Ooh, the race.
I'll
She's gonna be
start
great.
from the bottom. V Bulldog is on. Nux
It's good.
and Shane Young, Moldy TP.
Oh, let's go with Shane. Let's
Shane,
go with the bro.
ooh.
Shane, he's been pushing for affiliate if he hasn't got affiliate already.
The bro Shane Young. Shout out.
So, happy to talk right there. But yeah, while you're busy setting that up, you know how I like to do my shout outs long, and even longer. Okay. Tuatahi kia tuku ai ngā mihi ki te mana wahine. Koutou i ngā pītau maraikura e pōkai ka ana ki te poipoia i a tātou kia pua wahe rangatira mō tēnei reanga. Bro, like, from our kuia to our aunties to our mums, you know, I fully resonate with you on that in terms of the impact that they had on my life. So I just want to give a shout out to Wahine and especially our partners, you know, for the mahi that they do as mums and as partners for us, bro. So big mihi out to your Wahine for letting you take the time to be able to stream and be a part of the community. You know, do your thing here when you could be spending time with your kids, or I'm giving her a bit of a foot rub, my bro. So, you know, shout outs there. I'd like to give a special shout out to Square Enix for being there for us when we've especially needed you, like from the gaming to the music to all those things, you know. So especially the creators of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII especially holds a special place in my heart, as it does with many of us here. Also, shout out to chat. You know, this kaupapa doesn't run without you, whānau. And I really do apologise if I don't interact with these, but you know, the kaupapa comes first and that's what it's about. But that doesn't mean that, you know, it's not without yous. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed tonight. Yeah, and it's, yeah, man, the second boil. Yeah, I think we've come into our 20th episode.
Woo!
So,
For real?
Yeah,
Damn.
20
The big
episodes.
Rua Te Kau.
Yeah, so happy
Let's
Rua
go.
Te Kau for the second boil, whānau.
I haven't got a cake here. I've just got a cup of coffee.
Yeah, nah, get the price. So, yeah, it's been 24 tekis, I reckon.
2014, bro. I ain't gonna get to work in the morning if that's the case.
Ka pai. Hua te kau.
Who's that? Was that Pride Lands?
That was on me. That was on me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So big aroha to the whānau. You know, thank yous for making this kaupapa what it is. It's not without yous. It's not without our special guests. Choco, I know you weren't with us tonight, but we still think of you like we always do. You know, so when you're ready, you know where we are. Come and join us. Yeah, we've always got an open spot for our mana wahine here in the second boil. Yeah. Last but not least, to the kaupapa of Ngāti Gaming, you know, for giving us this opportunity to represent you through the second boil. Tēnei rā ka tuku i ngā mihi kia tātou katoa e rarau mai. Tā reira, ki te rahi, huri noa, tēnā koutou, Chirpro, please take a photo Pōmari e tātou te whānau, and that's the second boil. We are out.
Let's go. Omari.
Pumads.
Pumas.